It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who actually does strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Theodore Roosevelt's infamous Man in the Arena speech reminds us that life's value isn't measured by the applause or the boos in the crowds, but by the courage to step into the arena, to face hardship, risk, and failure with purpose. Nearly 2,000 years earlier, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught the same truth. In chapter 2, from the fragments portion of Epictetus's Discourses, he says, "Whoever chafes at the conditions dealt by fate is unskilled in the art of life. Whoever bears with them nobly and makes wise use of the results is a man who deserves to be considered good." Both men, one a Roman slave who had his leg broken by his master and eventually became one of the most influential figures in Stoicism, and the other, a legendary rough-riding president. Both understood that greatness lies not in what happens to us, but in how we respond. Theodore Roosevelt was no stranger to being beaten to the floor by life. Both his mother and his wife died on the same day in the same house in 1884, just 2 days after his first child was born. And 16 years later, after serving almost 2 terms as president, he spoke those everlasting words that still impact our mindset to this very day. Fate is the storm. Virtue is how we face it. Out on the open plains, when a storm rolls in, cattle turn and run from it. But by running away, they only stay in the storm longer. One of my favorite animals, the American buffalo, does something different. They lower their heads, walk directly into the storm, and by facing it head on, walking into the storm, they move through it faster. They emerge stronger, freer, and on the other side, while the others are still running, being chased by the storm. That is the Stoic way. Don't run from difficulty. Don't curse your circumstances. Meet them with strength. Walk into the storm. Epictetus said, "It is not antisocial to be constantly acting in one's own self-interest." To him, this didn't mean selfishness. It meant acting according to reason, to virtue. Because when you master yourself, you both serve both yourself and the world. The person who acts with discipline and integrity lifts others through their example. Teddy Roosevelt called it the strenuous life. Epictetus called it the art of living. Both meant the same thing, that peace is not found in comfort, but in courage. In chapter 10 of the Enchiridion, Epictetus said, "For every challenge, remember the resources you have within to cope with it. Provoked by the sight of a handsome man or a beautiful woman, you will discover within you the contrary power of self-restraint. Faced with pain, you will discover the power of endurance. If you are insulted, you will discover patience. In time, you will grow to be confident that there is not a single impression that you will not have the moral means to tolerate. Every storm, every challenge, every loss. These are not punishments. They are training grounds. The critic will always talk. The coward will always point. But the Stoic, the man in the arena, lowers his head like the bison, faces the storm, and moves forward. Because the storm is not your enemy. It is your teacher. The man in the arena, the Stoic, the bison in the storm, they are the same, unbroken by fate, alive by choice. Live with intention, act with courage, and face your storm. I appreciate every single one of you for taking the time out of your day to watch this. If you liked the video, please hit that like button and subscribe to both our Instagram and our YouTube. If you could take a minute to like both or subscribe to both, more importantly, it would really help us out to grow the club. The Stoic Social Club also has its own line of quality merch with amazing Stoic-inspired designs made by our in-house artist, Bobby. Winter is coming, and our champion brand hoodies and sweaters will have you looking fresh and wise while keeping you warm. Even our t-shirts are made with heavyweight material because I always hate wasting money on clothes that are paper thin. The link to our merch store is in the bio along with the description to this video below. I'm stoked to see everyone next Sunday for a really special episode, so be sure to be tuned in right here at the Stoic Social Club.